What's up, guys? You are now tuned into the GB3 Show here on ATLTalks Radio. It is almost 30 minutes after the hour. Make sure that you're tuning into the show on ATLTalks Radio on iHeartRadio, or you can download the ATLTalks Radio app from the App Store or on Google Play on your mobile devices. And if you do have an iPhone and you're in your car, you can tune in on Apple CarPlay.
And we have a special guest. He is a former overseas basketball player. He also coached for player development for the Seattle Storm, and he is the founder and CEO of Life and Basketball brand, Mr. Dari Arrington. How you doing today, man?
How you doing, my brother?
Doing good. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
appreciate having me on the show.
Yeah,
yes,
awesome,
sir. Yes,
man.
sir.
Yeah, definitely. So, just when it comes to making a life in basketball, what was that point in your life that you really fell in love with basketball? And what was the point that you knew that you wanted to make it into your life?
Yeah, man. So, the origins of that was I'm from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
My family and I, we moved to here in Atlanta before. So this is my second stint here. And that's actually when I actually fell in love with the game of basketball. So I was a football dude. Like, I wanted to be Michael Vick, because that's all it was when I was here. I moved here in like 4th grade, and then I stayed until 8th. But like all that time, it was like Vick. And I wanted to get the number 7 jersey, everything. Mm-hmm. And I was coordinated just like him. I can throw, I can run, I can catch. I just wasn't about getting hit or hitting. So I was like, I didn't want to do none of that. But so a freak accident happened in a drill. I was over at Butler Park playing for a football team over there. And we did, I forget what the drill was called, but we would hop up and then we got to hit each other.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And so that wasn't my speed. I was more so playing the game because of my friends, and then I just kind of thought that I wanted to be like Vic, and so it became a thing. But I got injured really bad. Went to Grady. I lost feeling on the left side of my body.
Wow.
And so my mom was like, "Yeah, we're gonna pull you out of that." And so I didn't know what I was gonna do next. My friends, they kept playing, and when they would get out of school, they go over practice and things of that nature, and I was just kind of riding my bike, but I wanted to do something else. I remember one day they were playing basketball. So it's always been a part of me. It's always been around me, but I didn't jump into this thing until actually when I was 13. Mm-hmm. And so the moment I touched the ball, that was it. It was like an electricity, just a meant to be feeling. Mm-hmm. And so I just never put it down. So it started here in Atlanta, which is why this place is super special to me when it comes to ball. And I can kind of see everything that I'm doing in the community, how this game has really, done a lot. So, but yeah, it started there. And then how I knew it was going to be a part of me was, when I found the game, I also found Kobe.
Yeah.
So that was it for me. I was always watching the tapes. This is all pre-YouTube era and stuff like that. And so I was having my grandma sending me tapes and things of that nature. And
wait, actual VHS tapes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it used to be back then.
Yeah,
man. So it's fine.
Yeah.
That's our era. That's our era right there.
That's the era. And so for me, I had stacks of these things. Not just Kobe. It was a few other players, but I was only watching the Lakers.
Wow.
Just Kobe. And I studied him so much that I wanted to absorb his cadence. I wanted to absorb how he would talk in a press conference. All the different mannerisms along with his play style. And so that replaced Vic for me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh man, the way I feel with this basketball is I want to be able to do this. So I was hoping that I was going to stretch out to 6'6". I got on monkey bars. I was holding myself, trying to stretch out the whole thing that you would hear. And that was it for me, man. I just locked in and I got really dedicated, and he will always talk about you have to be obsessed with it. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was I want to go to the NBA. And it was a long shot. It was one of those things that, not too many people wanted to talk about, felt comfortable talking about, because it felt like it was unreachable, or you had to be this freak athlete,
right?
In order to be considered. For me, I didn't care. I was like, this is what I wanted to do, and I knew it. And I would tell my teachers, I would tell everybody, and I remember my teacher was like, "Well, that's great, but let's talk about something realistic." I was like, "That's realistic for me."
Yeah.
And yeah, that's been my trajectory ever since. Not the NBA anymore, but basketball.
That's awesome, man. Well, like, I know you definitely put a lot of time and effort into your game, and the game of basketball, it's brought you like to all over the world, man. And you played a year in Australia, dude, and like, how was that experience just playing overseas, and like just the language barriers in general, and also like, especially with the amount of foreign players that are really getting up there in the NBA in terms of stardom, like, how different are the basketball cultures as well?
Well, I would say the thing about playing abroad was I didn't have to really struggle with the language barrier. So, being in Australia, they're speaking English, right? Okay. But there's individuals that speak different languages there, right? So it is like this multifaceted country that has a bunch of different languages, just like us here. We got all different kinds of languages. So I didn't struggle at all there. Amongst different pockets of individuals that I met, it would be that language barrier. It's like, I can't speak. But I found my way. But being over there was great, man. It was a time of my life, man. It was about actually a year and a half. And just being I was the oldest rookie on my team. Because over there, guys are playing at 14 years old, professional.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
I can believe it. Yeah.
I knew all of this going into it, but my rookie year, I was 25. Yeah, I was 25. And I immediately became the starting point guard of that team.
Yeah.
So it was amazing, man, and very, very thankful to be able to experience that, because this was a long journey up until that point. How
did the coaches find you?
Yeah, so what happened was I never played in high school. I never played basketball. I got cut all 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I know how it feels. Yeah. Yep.
All 4 years, and you kept coming back.
I kept coming back.
Yeah.
It was that Mamba mentality in me. At the time there was no such thing as Mamba mentality, but it was always in me. It was like, okay, he's doing this and he's keep going. And I know he was in the NBA, but I wasn't thinking about that. I was like, he still has to prove himself.
Yeah.
Right. He was chasing championships, and you still have to prove it. And then those years where he was not making the playoffs and all that stuff that mattered. And so for me, I just kept pushing. I kept pushing. It definitely bothered me my second year getting cut, because I knew I put in so much work, and I just didn't understand. But I actually went back to Chicago, so I need to give you some context. So once I left here, I went back to start my high school years in Chicago. And I didn't come from an AAU background or anything. I didn't even know that stuff was a thing. And going back, I'm hearing people around the way talk about like, oh, there's AAU and these like feeder teams and things of that nature. You kind of got to be in the mix, right? So like guys were getting recruited in 5th grade and stuff. Wow. So these coaches were like already having eyes on these players. So when they get into high school, they like, they know who it is. Right. I was an unknown underdog. Like I just wasn't in there. So I played a lot of street ball. Jerome. That's how I played a lot of street ball. And I built my respect and my name through that, but it just wasn't enough. So I would put in all the work that I needed to do, that I could do. There was no trainers, so I was doing all of the stuff that I would see those professionals doing, and I'll try to emulate that and use my imagination. And so after my second year of being cut, going into my junior year, I just knew I was going to make it, because I was like, okay, this is my junior year. I had my eyes set on playing for DePaul University. I wanted to go up there like Q Rich. So like y'all remember Q Red
Yeah,
Trey? So I was a big fan of him because he was just like a shooter.
He was a flamethrower, man.
Yeah, that was one of my strongest attributes at the time. I was a knockdown shooter. And so I go into the junior year, go into tryouts. I crushed it because like all the guys that were trying out that were on the team as well, that we all live in the same neighborhood. You know, we live in the same neighborhood. We play at the same rec. I'm busting these dudes up, and you know, it's the same. Like it's nothing different.
Right.
It's a tryout. Like we do this every single
day. Yeah.
But it was the coaches, right? And so a lot of politics played involved. But yeah, I went through that. Got cut again. Senior year, I actually decided to go and talk to the coach prior to tryout. So we're talking a month in advance. And let him know, hey, look, I need an actual look. Like I haven't played at all, and I have these aspirations. And he told me that he was going to take a look at me. And then when tryouts came, I was battling, and I was going crazy because he was like clapping, and I knew like, all right, this got to be it because he's giving me this acknowledgement, like, okay, you know, you're doing good. And I lost this spot to this guy that could not play at all.
How tall was he?
We were probably like the same height.
Oh, no.
But, you know, what it really came, I mean, this is from the coach. This is what he said. He said the team needed to be a little bit more diverse. So it was like this white kid that made the cut. Man. And then it was like, what? That was, like, I didn't even understand that.
Look, we just talked about like politics when it came to play with Trae Young and Team USA. Like, I didn't know it was that prevalent, even like in the high school levels, man.
What? I mean, I can't speak for every city, but I can speak for the city of Chicago, though, because that's how it was. And I was like, man, this is wild, because I'm like, yo, this dude can't guard me. He can't do anything with me. And all these other guys that I'm playing, they know me. Like, they know. They know me. Yeah. And so, it just didn't happen for me. So I decided to, well, actually, after that, I did go through basketball depression. Like, it got real serious. I actually stopped playing for like 6 months. Wow. And I said I was going to hang it up because I was like, man, I'm not going to go play in college. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to get to the NBA. Nobody knows me. Right. And so that was a lie. After that, I just like started to get that itch again. And from there, I started to just play everywhere.
Now, I just want to circle back to your inspirations, you know, with Kobe, because I mean, he's like almost like MJ, because everybody say, "Oh, I want to be like MJ," but then I think you do have a fan base that wanted to be like Kobe. Yeah. But obviously, you know, when he passed, you know, it was a lot for everybody. So I just wanted to know, you know, when you heard about that, you know, what was going through your mind, you know, during that time, and, you know, with him not being here, how you've been able to, you know, move on with your basketball career and your aspirations, you know, with him not being there, you know, now.
Well, definitely when I heard that tragedy, man, it broke me. Like, a lot of people say that, and I'm sure that in some way it have, but this guy truly impacted me. Like, he's the reason why I wanted to go as far as I wanted to go at that time, and even still. And so, like, I was completely out of commission for literally 2 weeks, like, as if I knew this guy, like he was like a part of me. But I felt like he was that much in my DNA that it felt like I got something stolen from me, and it broke me. I was in denial for a long time. It actually, you know, messed up a few of my relationships with friends and stuff like that, because some people would say that I was taking it too far, like, you don't even know the guy. But it's different when you have your eyes locked in on something and you have like a muse. You want to be like, look, if this person was able to do this, or if this thing was that prevalent, you want to accomplish it. You're that dedicated to it. And so for me, I didn't care. And so it just really destroyed me, man. And still to this day, you know, still to this day, it destroys me. It's not something that I'm ever going to be able to digest fully. You know, we have to keep moving forward in life. I mean, obviously that's what he would say if he was here.
Absolutely.
Got to keep moving forward. But yeah, it was a big hit. And so after that, how I continue to keep going is, man, I watch a lot of Kobe highlights, just like I was when I was chasing the NBA. I watch his motivational speaking and his podcast over and over. I mean, it's everywhere on Instagram. So anybody on Instagram, you go on there, explore.
Absolutely, you see everything.
You're gonna see Kobe talk.
Yep.
And so that's how he still stays with us. You know, stays with me for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I know, like, when you were pursuing the NBA, like, a lot of people do a lot of different type of things to try to get a look or get a tryout or whatnot. And while you were living in California, man, there was definitely one thing you tried to do to get a G League tryout at the Warriors. You stayed at their facility for 31 days. You kept going back every morning with the sign trying to get a tryout, man. Just tell me about that experience, and what did you learn going through that? Did anyone like talk to you, give you some positive motivation as well?
Absolutely, man. I would say, Jerome, that probably is my most rewarding and best feeling that I've experienced in the pursuit of basketball. It trumps my professional playing career. And I say that because of the impact. So I didn't live in Cali. I went to Cali specifically for that. I was actually living in Seattle at the time.
Oh, okay.
So I decided to quit. I was working 3 jobs. And I decided to quit all 3.
Man, that's a leap.
Man, look.
That's a leap, dog.
When you talk about a bold move, man, look, I gotta give it to you, bro, because it's one of those things where, like you say, when you're chasing a dream or whatever, you know, you don't care what nobody says. So if it's something that you want, go get it.
Yep.
So you do whatever you got to do. So I definitely applaud you for that, because you don't see that on the norm. You know, most people be like, okay, if I don't get it, then I'm thinking about something else. But then it's like one of those things, because, you know, people tell me this all the time, and I tell this people too, like, when you go through life, it's not a straight shot. You're going to have detours. You're going to have bumpy roads. You're going to go through a lot of stuff to get to where you want to be. And so, you know, to do that, like I said, when I say it's a bold move.
It was something, I remember when I first thought about it. And so actually, I can give you some context here. There was a gentleman who did this before me. And his name was Joe Anderson. He did it for the NFL. Right. I'm sure him going into that, he's not thinking like, you know, somebody around the world is going to do something like this. He's chasing his dream.
Right. Exactly.
And I couldn't find one human other than Kobe, but I never met, that stuck out to me like that. That was like, yo, this is a straight go getter. Like, he's putting it all on the line. And so I was like, that made me question my work ethic. Wow. I was like, okay, am I working that hard to really get it? I said, look, he's the first person to do it for the NFL. I'm going to be the first to do it for the NBA. And I wrote up this master plan on how I'm going to go about it, what I'm going to do, what the project's going to be about. And I think the first time where it got real serious is when I went to go talk to my managers, and I said, I'm going to leave. And they were like, oh, why the sudden do this? And I'm saying, I'm going to chase my NBA dream one last time. I'm going to give everything I got. And there was 3 jobs, you know. So I told my girlfriend at the time that this is what I was going to do. And she didn't look at me crazy. She was like, yeah, go get it, like that. And so that was all the confirmation I needed on that.
Right there. That's definitely good.
I was like, okay, we're doing it. So we flew out to San Francisco, posted up for the whole month of October. Day 1, nerves were crazy. Oh my God, my nerves were crazy. And I'm like, I'm really going to do this. And so the first 4 days I was getting chased off the premises. Because they were thinking I was trying to solicit. Right. Yeah. But I needed that though, because that was going to help me know the certain people, security. And so once I got to really talk to security about like, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm not asking for money out here. This is what I'm doing. They got behind me. So the rest was like just showing up. They showing up for me. They telling me, hey, you know, players are going to be over here, and the team management. I was like, I don't care about the players. I'll let the fans go. I want to go talk to the execs. That's what I'm here for, talking to the execs. And but while being outside, that was the beautiful thing. The city of Oakland, shout out Oakland, because they really showed me love really showed me love. Like Oakland is different. I don't know if you guys ever been, but Oakland is really different. And so I got to talk to all kinds of different people while being out there. They want to know why I'm out there. Like I don't look like a bum or anything like that. So I'm wearing all Warriors gear and everything like that.
Right.
And then reading the sign is vague, but it lured people in to ask questions, and that's what I wanted. And so, man, I've talked to all kinds of people. I had this one doctor just walk by. He was like, I don't know what you're doing, but here's $100. It's like that. And I was like, I mean, I'm not.
I appreciate it, but that's not even what I'm here for.
And I had people talking to me, and they started crying. It was crazy. Like, my Instagram was going nuts. And then I got on a huge radio station out there. Rest in peace to the one of the former hosts of the show. He just passed away. Great soul. But he brought me onto the show because he heard about, like, somebody wrote into the show. He was like, yo, this is young man outside doing this. And he brought me onto the show. I got an email, and I was like, wait, what? This is not real.
Right.
And then from there, more people in the Bay Area just started to know, like, what I was doing. And then it actually touched the Warriors. Sean Livingston talked about it and things of that nature. Shout out Sean. Really, like, tapped in with me and stuff like that. But it was one of those things that I was like, look, I needed to give my all one last time for pursuing this. And I didn't get that tryout, but I did get offered to I got the tryout for the NBA G League, so the Santa Cruz Warriors. See, I was going for the big dogs. I was like, I'm going big or going home. I'm not here for the G League. No disrespect, I love the G League, but I was like, I need to get in the doors with these guys so I could show you exactly what I could do. It didn't really happen, but I did get to connect with some people, and I got to practice with them a little bit and stuff like that.
That's good.
That's dedication right there, man. And you know, like, your journey eventually led you to being a player development coach for several professional teams, mainly the WNBA team, the Seattle Storm. Let us know, like, what was your experience with them, and also what are, like, some of the best players you've also gotten a chance to play with and against too? So I've always kind of been in player development. Even leaving Australia, that was something that I fell in love with while being there because I worked with the kids there. And coming back to the States, I decided to do the same thing. And then so Seattle came about by me just kind of hearing about an opportunity through my network of being a practice player. And so I didn't even know that something like that existed. And so I just connected with the guy that found out about me, and we connected. We became really good friends, and he brought me in because he was the player development coach. So I was like an assistant to him. And then while being an assistant to him, I got to work out those women. You know, got to be on the floor with them, got to work out, play, and all these things. It was crazy because it's Sue Bird and all that.
Yeah, so it was like she's my favorite, and so Sue was, you know, there, and I got to, you know, be out there with Kelsey Plum a little bit because she went to Washington University. And so, yeah, it was great. And I worked out with, like, Nate Robinson, Jamal Crawford, a lot of those guys being out on the West Coast.
That's awesome, man. Well, hey, man, you eventually started your own brand, Life and Basketball brand, man. And what was your inspiration for starting that? And, like, what is your, like, ultimate goal when it comes to that brand? Where do you want to take it?
Yeah, so the goal starting that was to kind of promote my own personal brand. I felt like I wanted to do that if I got an opportunity to be in the NBA, but it didn't manifest in that regard. So I just pushed to just be creative and spread the message of life through the game of basketball, and I wanted to touch as many people as I could in an inspirational and motivational way. That was my outlook, and then from there, it just started to blossom. I mean, creative-wise, all kinds of different things started to come in that platform, and so now it's a huge full-service basketball media company. And so it touches on everybody that's in the world of basketball, from journalists to creators and all kinds of stuff to you know, be a basketball influencer.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Well, I'm definitely happy you've decided to join us. And before we go, man, what is just one thing that you think any player that's pursuing a life in the NBA or professional basketball in general, what's one thing that they need to work on right now to be able to have that shot?
They need to work on their commitment level, being committed all the way, like dedicated and being able to sacrifice whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm. Like dances, proms, like
all of it,
dates, like all
hanging
that
out
type
with
of
the
stuff.
homies, like all that stuff. Like you literally got to be locked in if that's your goal.
Well, Mr. Dari, man, we definitely appreciate you joining us here on the GB3 Show, man. You great interview, awesome guy, and check out Life in Basketball brand. He is definitely doing big things for anybody that's wanting to improve their social media platform. If you are a ball player,
Yes, absolutely, appreciate it.
All right, and thank you for tuning in to the GB3 Show. Make sure you tune in every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, make sure that you follow the show at the GB3 Show on Twitter and Instagram, and be sure to download the ATLTalks Radio app from the App Store or on Google Play on your mobile devices, or just tune in on iHeartRadio. So we thank everyone who's tuning in with us, and we'll see y'all next week. Y'all hold it down.